Live from downtown Detroit, home of WDIV and Click on Detroit, Local 4 News at 5 starts now.
Dangerous drifting. Wild video from Detroit police shows a driver doing donuts and spinning right into someone who's standing there watching.
A devastating fire destroys a Detroit senior housing complex. Now we're learning where it started and what comes next for all the people who used to call the building home.
But we're going to begin on Local 4 News at 5 with the latest from Washington. The Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi, set to appear here at any moment. You're looking at, and there she is, as a matter of fact. Let's listen in as we expect she's going to announce Democrats launching an impeachment inquiry.
Last Tuesday, we observed the anniversary of the adoption of the Constitution on September 17th. Sadly, on that day, the Intelligence Community Inspector General formally notified the Congress that the administration was forbidding him from turning over a whistleblower complaint on Constitution Day. This is a violation of law. Shortly thereafter, press reports began to break of a phone call by the President of the United States calling upon a foreign power to intervene in his election. This is a breach of his constitutional responsibilities. The facts are these. The Intelligence Community Inspector General, who was appointed by President Trump, determined that the complaint is both of urgent concern and credible. And its disclosure, he went on to say, relates to one of the most significant and important of the Director of National Intelligence's responsibility to the American people. On Thursday, the Inspector General testified before the House Intelligence Committee, stating that the acting Director of National Intelligence blocked him from disclosing the whistleblower complaint. This is a violation of law. The law is unequivocal. The DNI staff, it says the DNI, Director of National Intelligence, shall provide Congress the full whistleblower complaint. For more than 25 years, I've served on the Intelligence Committee as a member, as the ranking member, as part of the Gang of Four, even before I was in the leadership. I was there when we created the Office of the Director of National Intelligence. That did not exist before 2004. I was there even earlier in the 90s when we wrote the whistleblower laws and continue to write them to improve them to ensure the security of our intelligence and the safety of our whistleblowers. I know what their purpose was, and we proceeded with balance and caution as we wrote the laws. I can say with authority the Trump administration's actions undermine both our national security and our intelligence and our protections of the whistleblowers, more than both. This Thursday, the acting DNI will appear before the House Intelligence Committee. At that time, he must turn over the whistleblower's full complaint to the committee. He will have to choose whether to break the law or honor his responsibility to the Constitution. On the final day of the Constitutional Convention in 1787, when our Constitution was adopted, Americans gathered on the steps of Independence Hall to wait the news of the government our founders had crafted. They asked Benjamin Franklin, "What do we have, a republic or a monarchy?" Franklin replied, "A republic if you can keep it." Our responsibility is to keep it. Our republic endures because of the wisdom of our Constitution, enshrined in three co-equal branches of government, serving as checks and balances on each other. The actions taken to date by the President have seriously violated the Constitution, especially when the President says, Article 2 says I can do whatever I want. For the past several months, we have been investigating in our committees and litigating in the courts, so the House can gather all the relevant facts and consider whether to exercise its full Article 1 powers, including a constitutional power of the utmost gravity, approval of articles of impeachment. And this week, the President has admitted to asking the President of Ukraine to take actions which would benefit him politically. The actions of the Trump presidency revealed the dishonorable fact of the president's betrayal of his oath of office, betrayal of our national security, and betrayal of the integrity of our elections. Therefore, today, I'm announcing the House of Representatives moving forward with an official impeachment inquiry. I'm directing our 6 committees to proceed with their investigations under that umbrella of impeachment inquiry. The president must be held accountable. No one is above the law. Getting back to our founders, in the darkest days of the American Revolution, Thomas Paine wrote, "The times have found us. The times found them to fight for and establish our democracy. The times have found us today, not to place ourselves in the same category of greatness as our founders, but to place us in the urgency of protecting and defending our Constitution from all enemies, foreign and domestic." In the words of Ben Franklin, to keep our republic. I thank our chairman, Chairman Nadler, Chairman Nadler of Judiciary, Chairman Schiff of Intelligence, Chairman Engel of Foreign Affairs, Chairman Cummings of Oversight, and Chairman Cummings I've been in touch with constantly. He's a master of so much, but including inspectors general and whistleblowers. Congresswoman Richie Neal of the Ways and Means Committee, Congresswoman Maxine Waters of the Foreign Financial Services Committee. And I commend all of our members, our colleagues, for their thoughtful approach to all of this, for their careful statements. God bless them, and God bless America. Thank you all.
Madam Speaker, never before has the President...
We were already told that she would not be taking questions, but you're watching some history in the making. This has only happened a handful of times in the history of our nation, such a proceeding being launched, announcing right now that an impeachment inquiry is about to begin. Speaker Pelosi has been slow to come to this moment, resisting calls from, among others, Michigan Congresswoman Rashida Tlaib, who was very early on urging the impeachment of the president, coming to this conclusion only in light of this most recent Ukraine inquiry and the whistleblower report. We expect tomorrow, the president has promised that he is going to release the transcript of that phone call. We're not exactly sure what that means of that phone call with the Ukrainian president, because apparently there were a number, up to 8 such phone calls, we've been told. We'll see what's released tomorrow, but it's most likely going to do little to dissuade Democrats, who really are not so much interested in the transcript of that report, but they are interested in the full whistleblower complaint. And as you heard her say, Joseph McGuire, who is the acting Director of National Intelligence, is set to testify this coming week. Perhaps that will shed some light on this, because he's the one who has resisted the calls for the whistleblower report to be made public. But we are going to be watching an impeachment inquiry begin. That is not the same as an impeachment. This is an inquiry to begin those proceedings, and we'll see what happens now as they start the investigative process.
As you said, history in the making.
Yeah.
All right, let's move along with more news that's happening today. Our other top story, this video showing a driver doing donuts, hitting someone watching on the side of the street.
So far this summer, we have seen chaos on the Lodge. We've had ATVs running wild through streets, and now we get this.
Let's bring in Jason Colthorpe with the video and what the chief has to say about the video. Jason.
Yeah, he has a lot to say, guys, because in these 2 videos from the weekend, a dangerous game being played with heavy horsepowered cars, and this time, as you see, someone hurt. This was the scene near Warren and Livernois on Detroit's west side late Friday night into Saturday. Some call this hot rodding or doing donuts, but it's actually called drifting. Detroit police call it dangerous, and this is why. This late model burgundy Dodge Charger clips one of the spectators there, and moments later, a young man whose leg is badly injured is loaded into a car.
This is a danger to the spectators. Clear danger.
Detroit Police Chief James Craig says they believe there were about 50 people watching and possibly a second person hurt.
These young people do not know, and I'm going to say it, do not know how to handle cars that exceed 5 to 7, 800 horsepower vehicles. Those are race cars.
The chief is urging the driver to turn himself in and others to put their phones down.
What's even more troubling to see someone sustain an injury and people are videotaping and no one does anything. That's the tragedy.
Now, that burgundy Charger you saw there has 2 yellow racing stripes. Police are asking anyone with info to call on this, but without the tips, the chief used his tagline we've heard him say before, and that is, "We will find you."
Yeah.
And we should point out, we also called a tire shop in the city just to ask about this sort of thing. So this might not be isolated, because they say we're going through tires like crazy, selling them for this reason. People coming in.
Because they're burning them out.
Burning them out.
Wow.
Yep.
That's an expensive hobby.
Exactly.
Yeah, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Jason.
All right, in more news tonight, in Bloomfield Township, Long Lake Road near Middle Belt is back open after a deadly accident involving a dump truck. The truck and a car involved in the crash came off the road surface late this morning. Truck snapped a utility pole. Reports indicate the car failed to yield to the dump truck, which caused that crash. The driver of the car, a 76-year-old man from Bloomfield Hills, was pronounced dead at the hospital.
Let's move now to the latest in the ongoing UAW strike against General Motors. Right now, thousands continue to man the picket lines. It's now been 9 days since workers across the country walked off their job at GM plants, demanding good faith bargaining to tackle issues revolving around compensation, health care, and chief among their complaints, temporary worker contracts, among other items. But we're told negotiations started back up around 8 o'clock this morning. At this hour, still waiting on word of any concrete progress coming from either side. Quiet today.
All right, much more ahead here at 5. Here's Defender Karen Drew.
I believe I was sold. I was 9.
239 kids from Southeast Michigan were rescued from human trafficking in 2018.
These are kids where you live.
It's horrific out there.
But there is hope.
First time in my life somebody heard me. They heard me.
Stop the Trafficking, a Local 4 Defenders special report coming up.
And a crime police say stretched from Detroit up to Sheboygan. What these two are accused of doing and how police say they caught them at it red-handed. Hey, Ben.
Devin, a perfectly scripted fall evening ahead of us with mostly clear skies, light winds, but it is going to feel a whole lot different tomorrow morning. We'll look at that and when the leaves will finally turn. Coming up.